Hello everyone, and welcome to this Blender tutorial. This is going to be based on what we did today in class and what we'll be doing tomorrow in class. So we are no thank you we are we're going to work on, I'm going to make a kind of bipedal humanoid-ish robot-y character for our Smashy City game. I'm going to put an armature or a skeleton inside it. I'm going to animate it, and then I'm going to get that animation to run in the game engine. So with no further ado, let's do that. So I have two things to do. I have to turn on my screencasting. While I'm waiting for that to turn up, I need to set up my mouse, which I should have done before I pressed record, but I didn't, so we'll do it now. So screencasting, so turn that on and in, and now you can see what keys I'm pressing, and this thing here, middle mouse button, enabled on my trackball, and now I can do that. Fantastic. 1 and 5 front orthographic mode. Go into edit mode, and I'm going to make this in a similar way to the thing I made in class. So Shift D, that's going to be sort of the body. Go into wireframe mode and scale that down a bit. Then we'll go Shift D, that can be our neck. I'm going to select the whole head. I'm going to press L. I'll try that again, L, yeah, and that selects all linked vertices. So Shift D, that can be the top of my arm. And I'll do what I did in class, which is I put in a mirror modifier. Actually, no, I won't bother. Let's keep it nice and simple. So just keep going Shift D. So we'll scale this down a little bit. So Shift D, and then we'll give them a smaller hand. And because I can go Shift D, duplicate that, move it across here, and I'm going to invert it. So I'm going to go mesh mirror on the x-axis, and now they kind of look similar. And I'm going to select this guy here and press L, go Shift D, S, make a leg here, and again scale it down a bit, Shift D, okay, and make some sort of foot type object. And again I'm going to press B, so box selects, and then Shift D, and I'm going to mirror this one as well. So mirror on X global, and roughly in the correct position. So now some of them are a different color, and that's because the normals are facing in an incorrect direction. That's how Blender will tell us that. So I'm going to go A to select all and Control N, and that will fix it. Now I'm also going to get a couple of, I'm going to select this guy here, L, and move it forward on the y-axis. If there are faces in exactly the same position, like these ones here, when the computer tries to render them in the game engine, it'll give funny results. You get sort of diagonal wavy lines where it doesn't know which face is on top of which face. So again down here as well, so this one here, L and L, and go GY, just so they're not overlapping too much. L, yeah, no, okay. Doesn't want to select that one. GY, move that back, and then do it separately. L, there we go. GY. Okay, that's fine, and the rest we can live with. Okay, so that's roughly the character there. I'm going to turn on ambient occlusion so you can see the outline a little bit more. Now I'm going to save that. I can go File, Save As, stick it on my desktop, and I'm going to call it Robot. And I'm going to try and save a couple of these files as we go, and then we will, if you find yourself struggling at a particular point, then maybe you can, I'll share these files with you. You can kind of pick pick up the file at whatever point you're having a difficulty with. So I'm going to add a bone. Now my origin is here at the center, so I'm just going to leave it there. I'm going to go Shift A, which is the add menu, add armature single bone. Now I can't see it, so how do I get to see it? Well, I go over here to this menu and I click X-ray G, Z to move it down to the correct position, and now I'm going to go into edit mode for this. I'm going to bring this up to here. Now I could add in a neck bone, but I'm just going to keep this nice and simple. Now we did this in class. We turned the X mirror modifier, and then Shift E gets me my shoulders, and I'm going to go E and E again. So I'm going to keep it nice and simple. And again, Shift E gets me the two bones on the outside, E to the knee, down to the shin, and out into the foot. Now, when we do this in the future, when we're making a more complicated rig, the names of these bones will become rather important. So I'm going to name them now. It's a bit laborious, but we should do it. So this is the head and the body. So there aren't many bones in this rig. When we make a proper character, when I say proper character, I mean like a proper articulate character, we will end up with a serious amount of bones, well over 100. So this is going to be an arm dot L, arm dot left. I'm going to call this arm dot right. Now I don't know if you remember, but I said in class to you that there's a way to mirror things in the pose mode, and if you name these correctly you can mirror the poses. So I'm going to call this forearm dot L, because on the left side, and this will be forearm dot or. Okay, and then we get to our legs, so we'll call this leg dot L, leg dot or. We'll call this shin and shin dot or, nearly there, and then foot dot L and foot dot or. And if I spell these things incorrectly, my mirroring won't work. Anyway, so there we go. Now there's a couple of things just to kind of point out to you. So this dotted line that you can see between this and this is indicating a relationship between these two bones. So this bone here, the body, this is the tip of it, and these shoulder bones have been extruded out. There is no dotted line here, and that's a problem. So when I select that bone and go over to its properties, it has no parent. So I'm going to say body. Okay. And I'm going to do the same with this guy here. Body. So now if I am in pose mode and I go G and I move the body, then everything moves. Before then, if I just break this, go back into edit mode, and if I break this parenting and then I go into pose mode to move things and I go G, I'll leave that leg behind, which, you know, we won't make for a good animation if we leave part of our body behind us. So select the leg and pick the body. Now we're going to parent these things. So, and I have a feeling I'm going to get one or two of you got errors in class where it didn't parent properly and you had to do it by hand. So if we have to do that, we'll do that. So select the mesh, press or hold down Shift, and then right click on the skeleton, Control P, and we pick this option here with automatic weights. Now it hasn't returned an error. Sometimes you get an error saying could not apply the weights. If you do that, then you have to go in and do it by hand. I'll show you how to do this arm by hand, and you can extrapolate then to how you do the rest of the body. Again, a little laborious, but worth knowing. So if I go into solid mode now and I take my skeleton and go pose mode, if I rotate this, aha, so we have a good example here of, so these verts have not been assigned from this cube here. So let's go and fix that. And we have to fix that not on the skeleton but on the mesh. So we're going to go into edit mode on the mesh and press A to deselect everything. I'm going to go into wireframe mode because it'll be easier to see. Now, with the mesh selected and in edit mode, if we go over here to properties, these are all the bones in the vertex group. So we've made all these vertex groups. There's one for each bone. So this is called forearm.l. So let's go to forearm.l and go select. And you can see that these verts are not selected. So if I go B and draw a box around them and then go assign, then all of these verts have been assigned to that bone. So now I'm going to go A to deselect. I'm going to select arm.l and go select. And all these top ones are assigned to the top bone, so that will work. So let's check the other arm. So let's go forearm.or, and we can see we've got the same error over here. It's actually worse over here. So we're going to go B, and then we need to get these ones as well. Okay, and maybe not. I'm going to press C and hold down the middle mouse button to deselect that. So that's my selection here. So I'm going to go assign. I can go A to deselect, and then I go arm.or, select, and you can see I've got a duplicate selection, so this box here that I'm putting the mouse around is in both, and we don't want that. So I'm going to go remove, and then A to deselect, and then just select this top bit here. And again I can go C, hold down the middle mouse button, and deselect that. So it's just those top two squares. And I don't want these either. That will give me all sorts of crazy animation. Assign. Now let's check out the body. So the neck is now part of the body. That's good. So the head. Again, we've got duplicates, so we're going to go remove, press C, and then hold down the middle mouse button and deselect them. I'll leave those in and go assign. We've done the arm, the forearm, and the other arm of your forearm. So let's go to the legs and let's have a look here at the legs. So let's go select. So those three, they look good. Leg or select. That looks good. Shin. Maybe we don't want this bottom foot selected with the shin. Or maybe we do. Maybe the foot is only doing. No, we'll get rid of that front box. So I'm going to go remove. And then I'm going to, by hand, I'm holding down the shift key and deselect that cube. Oh, missed one. So all good there. And I'm going to go assign, and we'll go to shin.or, and interestingly this one doesn't have that front two cubes assigned to it, so look like we're onto a good thing there. Deselect, and now the only thing we've left to do is check the foot.l, and again we've got a duplicate. It's doing this back one as well. If two bones are associated with one part of the mesh, when the mesh tries to split itself to go with both bones, so it'll distort horribly. So we normally try and avoid that. So I'm going to go remove, L, and then assign. And then do the same over here. So this is the last one. So select, I'll go remove, and then L for that box, shift, right click here, and L for that box. Assign. Now our our robot will is set up correctly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go File, Save As, and I'm going to call it Robot Rigged. And then I'm going to stop this recording, and I'm going to make a second video straight away, and I'll put both of them up together, and in the second video I'll set up the animation.